Good afternoon, everyone. We are here today, albeit a little bit delayed, to remember Gerald Douglas Bateman. I never knew him to be a super religious man, but I do know he believed in God. He especially took saying grace before meals seriously. If you were messing around, he would cut his eyes at you and growl. So I'm going to open us with a prayer, and I promise I'm not going to growl at you guys, but if you hear one in your head, I'm not going to be too mad about that. Dear Heavenly Father, your son Gerald is in your hands. He is finally free. The rest of us are left here in our own chains, dealing with his loss. Be with us today as we break those chains and share our grief, our memories, and our love. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, amen. And to get this service started off right, I'm just going to ask you guys one question. What's Smurfing?
La 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 la, sing a happy song. La 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 la, Smurf the whole day long. Smurf along with me, simple as can be. Next time you're feeling blue, just let a smile begin. I hate smiles. Happy things will come to you.
So smurf yourself a grin.
Ooh, I hate Smurfs. La 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 la, now you know the tune. You'll be smurfing soon.
Well, this is going to be a little tough for me, so I do apologize. I don't know if that'll make it better or not, but all right. Well, Gerald Douglas Bateman, 60, died Saturday, May 14th of 2022 in Oklahoma City. He was born on October 6th of 1961 in Glasgow, Montana, to Gerald William Lester and Margaret May Rom Bateman, and was later adopted by Malcolm Gordon Bateman. He graduated May 30th of 1979 from Farson Eden High School in Wyoming, where he was a member of the wrestling team and an excellent chess player. He attended the University of Wyoming for 2 years studying computer science. He married Pamela Bradley Bateman on November 14th of 1990 in Carlton, Texas. They had 3 children, Benjamin, Matthew, and Heather. Gerald served in the Navy ROTC program in high school and the Marine ROTC program in college. He spent a summer with a youth group building trails through backwoods Wyoming. As an avid outdoorsman, Gerald fished for trout and hunted wild game with his family. He also trained and volunteered as a firefighter and a first responder. His vast computer knowledge led him to become a senior technical service representative at Xerox. He held many odd jobs in his later years and loved to use his vast technical skills to fix and tinker with anything. Rock music, the Smurfs, a good rare steak made him happy. He loved to impersonate Grover from Sesame Street, specifically the near and far. He had a passion for dogs, motorcycles, and cursing. Gerald is survived by his children, Benjamin Bateman of Luther, Oklahoma, Matthew and Ashley Bateman of Estacada, Oregon, and Heather Bateman of Luther, Oklahoma. 3 grandchildren, Ashlyn Richmond of Enid, Oklahoma, Zoe Bateman and Finley Bateman of Estacado, Oregon. Mother, Margaret Bateman of Lawton, Oklahoma. 4 siblings and their spouses, Deborah and Michael Hager of Kennesaw, Georgia. Leo Bateman of Lawton, Oklahoma. Lou and Carol Dimmel of Lawton, Oklahoma. And Abrina Smurfett and Captain Select Matthew O'Neill, United States Navy, of Washington, D.C., and 8 nieces and nephews, Nicholas Stack of San Diego, California, Sarah Shepard, Joseph Dimmel, and Casey Hawkins of Lawton, Oklahoma, Catherine Hager of Kennesaw, Georgia, and Noah O'Neill, Zion O'Neill, and Alora O'Neill of Washington, D.C. He is preceded in his death by his father, adopted father, and 3 uncles. I'm not real sure how to say that last name, but Richard Telk, Douglas Telk, and Billy McMillan.
Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Me and the boys are playing, and we just can't find a sound. Just a few more hours, and I'll be right home to you. I think I hear them calling. Oh, Beth, what can I do? Beth, what can I do? You say you feel so empty, that our house just ain't a home, that I'm always somewhere else, and you're always there alone. Just a few more hours, and I'll be right home to you. I think I hear them calling. Oh, Beth, what can I do? Beth, what can I do? Beth, I know you're lonely, and I hope you'll be alright, 'cause me and the boys will be playing all night.
Ten of Gerald's favorite things. 1. Cheap vodka. 2. Smurfs, the Smurfs. 3. Turning the word Smurf into a verb. 4. Rock music. 5. Dogs. 6. Motorcycles. 7. Cursing. 8. Fishing. 9. Tuna and crackers. 10. Grover from Sesame Street. If anyone wants to come up and talk about my grandpa, you can now. Please limit your remarks to 2 minutes. Thank you.
Well, there's a lot of things that come to my mind when I think of my dad. Good and bad. None of us are perfect. I know I'm not, but he was one of a kind. And I learned a lot of things from that man. And I hold a lot of them still to this day. A lot of my morals and my character and my values that I have, I owe that man for that. I remember a lot of the good times, and I prefer to keep it that way, not all the bad. And I know that everybody in this room was touched by him in some way. And I know that his memory will always live on in every one of us for the rest of our lives. And hopefully, it will be passed down to where he is not forgotten. But he was a hard ass. He was stubborn. But at the same time, he was one of the most intelligent people I've ever known. And his impression that was left on me, at least, is I try to make everybody around me laugh. And I feel like that is no different than what that man ever did. He would try to, as best as possible, get a rise out of you somehow. And I live my life doing that to my kids. I do that to my wife. I do that to my friends, my family. I do it because everybody needs some uplifting. Everybody needs a smile on their face every once in a while, no matter how bad times get. But he was much more than just a big joking prankster. Much more than that. That man was my world growing up. And it's hard thinking of the fact that I won't have that anymore. But with that being said, the benefit is that I feel like he lives on through me. Every day of my life, he's inside. I know he is. And hopefully I can spread that through everybody else who gets to be around me, that there is some memory of him left that lives in me. I appreciate you all being here. God bless.
Good afternoon. So I just take a second and share a little bit about what I'm going to remember about Gerald. He was, Matt, I appreciate all the words you said. And it's touching, and I hear him in your voice, and I appreciate that. It kind of brings him back to me for a moment. So we've been, Brianna and I have been living away for a couple of decades now, and about once a year we get the chance to come back. And I think every time that we come back to visit, sometimes folks will call us and they'll say, "Hey, come see us," or we'll meet up somewhere. Gerald was always one of those people. He was very persistent and consistent. Kind of no matter what state he was in, no matter what mood he was in, whatever was going on with him, he always tried to get with us, and he certainly did talk a lot about. He was always cracking jokes, and he talked a lot about being an uplifting force for himself and for us at any time. And so I guess as we bid farewell to him, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that with me. That he was always trying to be present for us, and always wanting to spend some time with his little sister, and with all the family here. And he was always so good with the kids. I'd see his eyes light up when the little ones would come around. And the last thing I'll share is that Gerald was one thing I saw in him. He reminded me a little bit of my oldest brother. He was always at work at something, and he never stopped. Right, he never stopped cracking jokes, never stopped reaching out, and never stopped smiling, really. So I take a little solace in the fact that now Gerald can rest, because I appreciate the history of the Navy and the Marine Corps, and one other thing I have in common with him is motorcycles. He was always at work at something, and now I feel good that he can rest. So thanks for listening.
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Matt's mom, and Brina has been a part of my family since she was in high school, junior high school. Tomlinson. Central, okay. Okay, don't keep me going backwards, okay? She's been a part of my family forever, okay? And I adopted her as my daughter. So, because I had 3 sons, and I had 3 daughters-in-law, but Brina's my favorite. And that is because I helped to watch her grow, and I was a part of her growth. And as a result of that, I got to meet her brothers. And I even met her sister once. And Gerald, I have to admit, the first time I met Gerald, I looked up at him, I said, "Oh my God." He was such a gentle soul. I just referred to him as a gentle giant. And of course, after Matt and Brina got married, they would come home every year for Christmas, and they still do, except when COVID hit. But every year at Christmas, and then I would have dinner at my house, of course, and I started inviting her family. And of course, Gerald would show up. And he was always so polite, and yes, he was always happy and smiling and cracked jokes, but I just loved his spirit. He had a real gentle spirit. And like Matthew said, he always had something kind to say, and he always smiled. Very soft-spoken for a person so tall and big, because he used to be a very big guy. And I just enjoyed his company. And he, of course, enjoyed ours. But it gave me the opportunity every time he would come for the holiday, and that's what I looked forward to, Brina's family and my family. We became literally one family. So he's going to be missed a lot by many, and he was a very gentle man. And like Matthew said, now he can rest. Like my Matt said, he can rest. And he is at peace now. He was ready, and when everyone is ready, I hope we all have that same attitude of when it's time to go, we get called home, we will go. Thank you.
I never had a brother, but Gerald was like a brother to me. He had a playful side. I was thinking about the purple critter that the kids used to hold their bottle. Each one of you did. It was a purple dinosaur that would be used to prop up the bottle. I think Heather replaced it with Barney, which was unfortunately tortured by her brothers. He had a childlike side, and he had a dark side. And there's always the part that you don't want to remember, so I hope we try to remember the good things. You always sort of retread some of the ground that you don't want to go back over. And Benjamin said in our talking, it wasn't all bad. I really enjoyed the summer where I got of my 40th birthday, when I got to float the river with Gerald and Pam and the kids. And it was enjoying the outdoors, which you really did like. I was just a sister-in-law, but even though there was a divorce, there's always that connection, because there were 3 great kids that came from that family. And I guess that's all I have to say.
But it's our turn. And we always let a Smurf do what a Smurf wants to do, right? What do you want to say? You want to, okay, say it nice and loud.
Uncle Gerald.
Uncle Gerald's. Okay. All right, there we go. Anybody else? That's hard to follow.
Nope.
Just a freight train coming your way.
now. My brother Gerald is about 20 years older than I am, so we didn't have that traditional sibling relationship. We didn't fight over toys, well, maybe a few, but we didn't share a room. We didn't help each other sneak in or out of the house or any of that. But he was my big brother, and big in every sense of the word, 6'9", and big in personality. Gerald was a straight shooter with a wicked sense of humor. He said exactly what was on his mind, no matter how blunt or inappropriate, and I plan to honor him by doing the exact same thing today. First, my brother was a fierce protector. Our brother Lou recalls Gerald keeping the bullies away when they used to walk home from school. And when I was a little girl, he used to cart me around on his bicycle, and it was a men's bike, so he'd duct tape a bunch of towels around the bar so I could sit on it comfortably. And one time a driver ran a stop sign and ran into us, and he literally threw me off of the bike so that he could absorb the impact instead of me. And as soon as he checked to make sure that I was okay, he went over and started screaming at the lady, "No one hurts my baby sister," over and over again, and he started just using her car as a punching bag. And I can clearly visualize the dents that he put in the hood of her car that day. Second, he valued my opinions, even as a child. I vividly remember the weekend that he brought Pam home and to meet all of us. And he told me, "Smurfette, if you don't like her, she's gone. And if you know Gerald, you know he meant it." And that weekend, they put up a tent in the backyard. We slept outside, which was completely bohemian and exotic to me at the time. And Pam played Barbies with me, and she braided my hair, and we played Go Fish and poker. And needless to say, I liked her. So Benjamin, Matthew, Heather, you're welcome. Third, he was great with computers and loved to tinker with things, even to his detriment. Mom tells the story of when he was in high school, they had a brand new computer lab, and Gerald kept breaking into it and making their systems more efficient. And the school got tired of suspending him and replacing the window, so the principal finally gave up and just gave him a key and let him do his thing in there. Fourth, he had demons. And unfortunately, I know a lot of those demons too. And they can make you hard to love, and they can push those that you love away. And alcohol was his way of dealing with those demons and keeping them at bay. But unfortunately, alcohol is what has taken him from us. And unfortunately, it taints a lot of the memories that I have and that others have. Him being drunk and forgetting he was supposed to take me to the park, or going on a camping trip when I was a preteen, and him being just completely out of it because all he would consume were pickles and beer. And after he moved back to Oklahoma, I said, if we're in town visiting, you are welcome to join us as long as you're sober, even if just sober for the day. And for many years, he was able to do that and was able to meet and get to know my sons, Noah and Zion. We're getting to you, girlfriend. Then his willpower failed. I had so hoped for him to meet my daughter this past Christmas, but he was unable to come in the state that we had agreed upon. And me not having any pictures of him with her, little Miss Alora, does not sit well with my soul, but I do know that I made the right decision that day. My one comfort is that the ICU did allow her to come in and let me hold her up to the glass window of the room. She waved at him and she sang "Itsy Bitsy Spider." He wasn't conscious at the time, but I choose to believe that he got to meet little Smurfette 2.0. Benjamin, Matthew, Heather, I know some of your relationship with him, and all I can say is that he never stopped talking about you guys, and that he did love you, just like I know that he loved me. And it certainly wasn't always the way that he should have, and I won't minimize feelings or the way that he treated anyone, but I really can tell you with absolute certainty that he loved you in all of the ways that he knew how. And lastly, and most importantly, Gerald liked Hootie and the Blowfish. Like, really liked Hootie and the Blowfish. There was a summer when my mom and I drove up to, I think it was Idaho at the time, and we walked in the door and he had that cassette tape on play and he wouldn't stop. It was just over and over again, and Pam kept saying, "I'm gonna throw that in the trash," and he was like, "No, you're not, woman," and it was like a whole thing. So he really, really liked Hootie and the Blowfish way more than any human should be allowed. When I visited him in the ICU and it was time for me to say my final in-person goodbye and head back to DC, I held his hand and I told him that I loved him, and he squeezed my hand and he wouldn't let go. I had to pry it away as tears rolled down both of our faces. So this song, specifically this lyric, will forever be my lasting view of my big brother. Hold my hand. I'll take you to the promised land. I want to love you the best that I can.
With a little love and some tenderness, we'll walk upon the water, we'll rise above